Welcome guys. A few days ago, PUBG released their developer plan for 2022, which is mostly map changes. A new map, changes to Sanhok, and a remastered Vikendi, along with updates to Tego and Paramo, I think it was. But apart from that, they're also talking about new features, updates to existing features, quality of life changes, a new weapon, and some weapon balancing. So let's get right into it. This is the overall developer plan for 2022. And again, I'm going to leave a link to all of this in the description below so you can check it out for yourself. We're going to go over these things when we read through the letter. However, something that's not actually mentioned in text apart from this plan is the smoke grenade cosmetics. I'm not sure if that means you can get different colors of your smoke grenades, but perhaps. Otherwise, I don't know what a smoke grenade cosmetic would be. And they're also talking about BP income balancing. They're also not mentioning this in further detail, but we know that the BP economy in the game is horrendous. I got like 1.5 million BP and I never use it really. So that is definitely something that needs improvements. And then they also do mention weapon balancing, but apart from the new weapon that's coming, they're not really going into detail with this. I just feel like this is what they always do. They try to balance the game. They add some patches with some weapon balancing. So nothing major here as far as I can tell. The first major thing, if you will, would be the Sanhok rollback. Sanhok is being rolled back to its original version. This is kind of huge and it's kind of crazy in a way. They spend all these resources making the new Sanhok, but PUBG says that most people want the original Sanhok back. And this also means that features such as the loot truck will most likely not be there. This is going to be a rollback. They're just basically disabling the new one, re-implementing the old one. But either way, this means that the old boot camp is coming back. A lot of people will be happy to see that. It also means that the old ruins will come back. I personally will be happy to see that. I feel like the new ruins was mostly a visual overhaul. It looks better, but it doesn't play better. I think the old ruins was way more fun. And also a place I like going was Quarry. Quarry nowadays on Sanhok, it is a bit of a maze and it's super difficult to loot and play there. The old Quarry has a great balance of easily accessible loot with the risk of being spotted when you're down in the quarry, and that's kind of exciting, I think. Next up, there's going to be a new weapon. This is going to be the Galil Ace, and I'm going to put some pictures of the real Galil Ace here so you can see that it is indeed the same thing. This assault rifle is going to be a 7.62 assault rifle in the game, and what PUBG are saying here, they want it to be a little bit less powerful than the barrel in terms of damage, but also more so than the AK. And that could kind of put this in the region of the M4 actually. So this could very well end up being a 7.62 M416, which sounds kind of boring at first, but then again, probably isn't, because in my opinion, we want more rifles that can compete with the barrel and M4. This one could very well just be that. The training mode is also going to get more exciting stuff. I think the aim trainer is great. The sound trainer, great as well. Great additions overall. But they're also going to put a 1 versus 1 mode in there. So you're going to be able to fight 1 versus 1 with a friend or a random stranger. That is kind of cool. It kind of reminds me of all those hours I spent back in the day playing 1 versus 1 in the old Counter-Strike. Also, something that could be exciting to a lot of you guys is that they will put a custom match training mode that will allow you to play with friends. So you might be able to start your own training map and then play with friends. That's kind of cool. And you can make your own 1 versus 1 tournaments and stuff like that. That might actually be possible. Going further to another map update, we have the Paramo World sub update. And what's really interesting here is not so much the Paramo part, but what is interesting, I think, is that they say that there are some overly advantageous areas in the world. And when they say that, the first thing that comes to my mind is Tego. Tego has some insanely open, flat areas where if you're stuck there without a car, you're pretty much dead if someone is in one of those buildings that's just kind of overlooking the entire area. So that is also what I would call an overly advantageous area. But if you read a little bit further, they also do write that Miramar and Tego will follow as well. So yeah, we're going to see some updates to pretty much every map in the game. When it comes to quality of life improvements, PUBG are not being very specific here, but they are mentioning that there are certain inconvenient elements in PUBG, such as not being able to use heal items and boost while you are in the driver's seat of a vehicle, or having to cook a perfectly timed grenade. So basically, That's kind of a cool thing, I think. Like, you have to cook the grenade. You have to know that okay, this grenade has 5-second fuse, so I'm counting to 2, and then probably I'm gonna hit that target in 3 seconds. I feel like that's a cool feature. So I'm not sure if that means impact grenades or something like that, but it could be. Either way, this is nice to see overall that they want to make the game a little bit more convenient, because especially newer players are not gonna have a fun time with a lot of the bugs in the game. Like another one that could be part of this list, it would be drive-bys. If I swap seat in a vehicle as a new player, the vehicle will come to a halt because I'm not aware that I need to hold W, which is the speeder of the vehicle, and then I can release it after swapping key, because then the handbrake will not activate. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So for new players, this is great news, and new player retention. So overall, I think this is good news for the game. We don't need these weird bugs and glitches to be actually part of how you play the game. Okay, and perhaps the biggest change this year will be that they will put another new map in the game. Yes, we're just gonna stack up the maps infinitely, just keep going, more maps. All right, Project Kiki, I will say it looks pretty good. It's a map that's gonna have cities, swamps, grasslands, all that kind of stuff, and it should have, according to what I read here, a pretty good variety of how you play the game, which is very important because you want the map to feel different and play different depending on where you are on the map, because that's what makes it exciting. That's what makes that circle, that random circle change exciting, because, oh wow, now it's in the swamp. Okay, I gotta play differently. Oh, now it's in the city. Okay, I better think about what I do here, right? So that is kind of cool. And some of these screenshots, they do look kind of interesting. Like, this is one of the city pictures. I'm not sure how much city there will be, but we do have some here. There's going to be tall skyscrapers where they write that you're not going to be able to access every floor, of course, just like you can't on Miramar and you can't on Haven. However, there will be sniper nests on the rooftops, so you could have perfect sniper positions up there. And also, since you cannot access every floor, it's going to be pretty simple as a player that's trying to fight the snipers to kind of figure out where they are. Also, there will be vertical zip lines, or as they call, ascenders. And we actually saw that in the first picture of the developer plan here. This is someone that's moving up a zip line with one of these vertical zip lines, as they call ascenders. I assume it's going to make some kind of a sound so the sniper or the people defending the roof will be able to hear you coming, but nevertheless, this is kind of cool. And moving over to the swamp area of Kiki, we have an example of what that could look like. It's not going to be so deep that you need to swim here. Kind of like the swamp area on Erangel, I think. Yeah, kind of like that area, I would imagine. This area will also be the reason they add airboats, because they want a vehicle that can traverse these swamplands easily, but also traverse land areas easily. So there's going to be an airboat, and I assume this is going to be very maneuverable and probably decently fast, but at least it's probably going to be something that's going to accelerate pretty fast, but it's going to have a limited top speed. Yeah, I would imagine. And apart from the airboat and the ascenders that we just talked about, they're not going into much detail what other things are going to be happening on Kiki. They are saying that after releasing the map, they will continue to add exclusive weapons and vehicles to the map, which is something PUBG has always done. And the reason they feel like they have to do it like this, and they might be right, is that if you add too many different guns to all of the maps, it's going to be too difficult to find the weapon or item you like. It's going to be thinning out the loot and making it more diverse. But yeah, then it's going to be much harder to find an SLR, M4, and so on. And they do want to sell you skins for these items as well. So you're not going to spend a ton of money on a progressive Kar 98 skin if it's almost impossible to find one because there's 20 different snipers in the game. And speaking about the weapons, the weapon mastery is also getting an overhaul. The information about this was already released like a few weeks ago. However, in short, in the weapon mastery system, you're going to be able to go beyond level 100 because they will add prestige levels. I think they're going to call them expert levels, though. They will also improve the stats, make them more relevant, and make them better. And the final cool thing about the weapon mastery system is that you're going to be able to show off your expert level, your weapon prestige, on your character's nameplate in the kill feed, which is a very cool thing. Back with the maps, Vikendi is getting another overhaul later this year. And the reason this is interesting is that this is not just an overhaul, not just an update. This is what they call a grand remake. All right, so a grand remake. That's pretty big. So they're gonna make huge changes to the map. And I could hope that we're gonna see a little bit more snow because I kind of missed that. Arcade mode is gonna get an overhaul too because, well, they haven't added any new arcade mode in ages. Arcade mode has said coming soon in the other fields below the team deathmatch mode since whenever it came out years ago. So PUBG will add some new modes here. The only thing I'm worried about here is that if you add too many modes, you're going to spread your player base too thin, which is going to affect the queues and means that people are going to either get longer queue times or have to play against more bots, which is both terrible for the game. So I hope they think about this long and hard before they make this too big of a part of the game. And that's it, guys. Those are the overall words in the developer letter. I'm going to leave a link to this in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.